What if I told you there's a UFC fighter with zero technique that seems to destroy everyone he faces?
Dricus looks awkward.
He's like the best shit fighter in the world.
From making UFC legends cry to making history, Dricus still knocks Du Plessis, dominated his division. But how did this awkward fighter, in only 5 years, go from a no-name rookie to becoming the UFC middleweight champion? It all started in Vilcom, South Africa, 1999. Dricus Du Plessis was raised on a farm with his hardworking father and humble family. Growing up with two brothers cultivated a competitive environment, which led him to his first judo class at only 5 years old. He instantly fell in love with it and trained for the next 7 years. While Dricus also played rugby and other sports, his passion increasingly centered on fighting. So when Dricus turned 12, he tries wrestling, training intensively for 2 years straight. But to become a true martial artist, he was still missing one crucial element: striking. His father noticed his growing obsession, so he took 14-year-old Dricus to a kickboxing gym. 3 years later, Dricus had achieved something no South African had ever done before. That is, winning a kickboxing gold medal at the 2012 Waco K1 World Championships. As impressive as that was, most people from his hometown had no idea what that was. At the time, mixed martial arts was virtually unknown in South Africa. Only rugby was king. So what happens when you become the best in a sport no one cares about? Dricus collected win after win, eventually amassing an amateur kickboxing record of 33-0 with 30 knockouts. Despite remaining undefeated, many agreed his technique was far from good. He didn't look traditional. His strikes were clunky. He overextended. The funniest comment I've seen someone describe him was Donkey Kong on roller skates. He compensated for bad technique with tremendous heart and aggression. It was then that his brother suggested his fighting nickname to be Still Knocks, a reference to a sleeping pill. For the first time ever, Dricus considered turning his passion into his career. But could a fighter make it in a country that didn't value fighting? There was no institution for combat sports, no fighting community of any sort. If you didn't pursue rugby or university, people mocked you. Choosing fighting meant choosing uncertainty over security, especially since kickboxing offered little to no financial reward. So Dricus attended the University of Pretoria to study agricultural economics, leaving fighting only in his free time. But Du Plessis still needed to support himself. The only opportunity for real income was in mixed martial arts. So Dricus switched from kickboxing to an African MMA organization called EFC, Extreme Fighting Championship, going to lectures in the day and fighting in the cage at night. But could an awkward kickboxer succeed in the complex world of MMA? In 2013, 19-year-old Du Plessis made his first MMA debut on short notice. His raw power and looping strikes impressed spectators immediately. He finished his opponent via technical knockout in the first round. Then he beat his next 4 opponents as well. This streak captured everyone's attention, including the entire African fighting community. Dricus didn't know this yet, but he was slowly becoming the face of South African MMA. So what happened next would catch him completely off guard. Du Plessis was in his final year at university when he received an offer that could change his life, a shot for the title. But he was stuck between 2 decisions. Option 1, reject the fight and stay to finish his degree. Or option 2, drop out of university and focus everything he had on this fight. No safety net, no guarantee, but a slim chance of creating the life he had always dreamed of. His mind was set, but was dropping out of university worth the risk? If he loses, all the years he spent studying would have been for nothing, let alone the danger of facing a certified champion of the sport. At EFC Africa 33, 19-year-old Dricus shows up for the middleweight championship against Gareth McLellan. But on the 3rd round, everything he feared came true. A guillotine choke that shattered any illusions of success. He attributed the loss to breathing issues.
My nose is completely screwed up. It has been for the most part of my career in my nose, and I'll fix that someday. Well, hopefully soon.
Remember this, it's important to the story. His first defeat forced genuine doubt about his chosen path. Had he thrown away his future for nothing? His unorthodox style, which looked effective against regional competition, appeared vulnerable against elite opponents who could exploit his technical deficiencies. The South African MMA community also questioned whether their fighters could compete at the highest levels. With limited infrastructure, training partners, and financial support, many talented South African athletes migrated abroad or abandoned fighting entirely. Du Plessis faced the same crossroads that had defeated countless others. What was he gonna do now? Then, at the lowest moment, he met a man who would change everything. Enter Moan Vizier. While most coaches focused on technical perfection, Vizier saw something different. He embraced Du Plessis' natural awkwardness and built around his physical and mental strengths. Vizier saw that Du Plessis' technical flaws were actually features. His weird movement patterns confused opponents, his relentless pressure broke their rhythm, and his mental toughness allowed him to impose his style even when losing rounds. After moving a weight class below, Dricus won his next fights and his confidence back. But more importantly, he got a second chance at the title. At EFC 50, he faced Martin van Staden, but this time, he captured the vacant welterweight championship with a guillotine choke in the third round, the same submission that had defeated him years earlier. This victory represented mastery over his previous weakness. After defending his welterweight title, Dricus went back up to middleweight, the challenge for the belt he'd lost. This time, his opponent was a new champion, Yannick Bahati, at EFC Worldwide 62. The build-up for EFC 62 was intense. This fight would put Dricus' name on the line. In just 90 seconds, he became the first fighter in African MMA to hold titles in two weight classes simultaneously. His EFC record of 11-1 included 9 finishes, establishing him as the continent's most feared competitor. His dominance proved to the world he was ready for a bigger challenge. Still, no matter how many opponents he finished, the UFC didn't call. The world moved on. Dricus realized EFC successes alone wasn't enough, so he had to prove himself globally by moving to Europe's KSW promotion in Poland. But what would be the right decision for him? The man standing in his way was considered extremely dangerous. Croatian southpaw Roberto Soljic had finished all 7 of his previous opponents. But to everyone's surprise at KSW 43, Dricus got a second-round knockout to capture the welterweight championship. Just to be clear, Dricus now held 3 MMA titles simultaneously, something almost unheard of. The victory seemed to confirm his qualification for global competition. However, right at fingers' reach of getting an offer from the UFC, his worst nightmare came true. Soldic's devastating third-round knockout was more than just a loss for Dricus. It was a complete dismantling of a style that exposed every flaw. This became his darkest hour. Had his unorthodox style finally become obsolete? After much self-reflection, Du Plessis considered completely pivoting his fight style, but rather than abandoning his style, he and Vizier studied what had gone wrong and how to adapt without losing the effectiveness that made him special. This analysis revealed a crucial insight. His style wasn't broken, it was incomplete. Every training from now on focused on improving his defense while maintaining his offensive moves. They worked on better timing for his blitzing entries, improved cardio conditioning, and defensive strategies. Eventually, Dricus bounced back, winning his next fights. After holding 3 belts across 2 promotions, his resume was undeniable, even to the UFC. So in 2020, Du Plessis finally got the call from the UFC. Dricus' UFC debut at Fight Night 179 in October 2020 marked his arrival on the sport's biggest stage. His first-round knockout of Marcus Perez proved he was in the right place. But even more so, the fact that he kept winning, knocking out Trevin Giles, beating Brad Tavares, submitting Darren Till. Each victory wasn't just a win, it was an improvement. But what if I told you Dricus had been hiding a secret that made his success even more incredible? Unknown to the broader MMA world, Du Plessis had been competing with a severe handicap throughout his career. According to his coach, he had been fighting with only 8% oxygen intake through his nostrils, due to a breathing impairment. He was essentially suffocating while fighting. Remember that breathing issue from his first title loss? This was it. Lucky for him, he was now scheduled for surgery to fix it. However, Dricus would have to wait as the surgery kept getting delayed. Still, that didn't stop him from dominating his next opponent at UFC 285, ranked number 5 in the world, Derek Brunson. By now, Du Plessis was a great fighter, but still not well known. To reach superstar status in the UFC, he would need to garner more attention. If he wanted to go for the title, something had to change. So, what does he do? He pokes the nerve of the middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya.
Well, I mean, did those belts ever go to Africa? As far as I know, it came to America and New Zealand. We train in Africa, we're African born, we're African raised. We still reside in Africa, we train out of Africa. That's an African champion, and that's who I'll be.
This infuriated fighters like Israel Adesanya and Kamaru Usman, who accused him of dismissing their heritage. But Du Plessis didn't back down, so the internet went nuts. Suddenly, his name was in headlines next to the champion, setting up a fight everyone wanted to see. But could Dricus back up all that talk when it mattered most? To fight for the title, Dricus first needed to pass one final test. UFC 290, July 2023. Dricus was scheduled on the main card to fight former champion Robert Whittaker, Widely considered the most skilled middleweight after Asanya, Du Plessis was a heavy underdog. To be ready, he had to be in the best shape of his life. Remember that delayed nose surgery? It finally took place 3 months before this fight. The operation was a game changer. Now he could finally breathe normally. What happened next was Dricus' moment of truth. His awkward style, once mocked, slowly began wearing down Whitaker. Unpredictable wide punches, offbeat timing, and a gas tank that looks like it's failing but never stops. Then came the perfectly timed jab, leading to a second-round TKO victory. Haters could no longer call him lucky. It was clear Du Plessis was ready for a title shot.
Yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother. What's up?
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
Let's go. You my
However, Dricus had to wait Sean Strickland's turn at the title shot. But no one could have expected what happened next. In what became one of the sport's biggest upsets in history, Sean Strickland would defeat Israel Adesanya. But Du Plessis, a new champion, didn't matter. His upcoming title shot was still guaranteed. And during the lead-up to their fight, Dricus unveiled his most devastating weapon yet. During the press conference leading up to their fight, we witnessed the most effective psychological warfare in UFC history. Dricus weaponized his opponent's most vulnerable memories, referencing Strickland's troubled past and the abuse he endured from his father as a child.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit out of you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. Every childhood memory you have is gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one, the one where you lie in bed at night, where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
I will take your fucking soul. You understand me, you fucking pussy? Yeah, you laugh, you
Yeah, oh, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
Yeah, you did hit a nerve, you bitch. Go ice your ankle, you coward.
Oh, man, that's...
The next day at UFC 296, they happened to sit next to each other, and this happened.
All right, so
he's still
I'm being
talking.
told that Strickland asks Gilbert Burns' son to move. Oh, and then,
wow.
Oh my goodness.
oh wow.
It was clear that Dricus got in Strickland's head about unresolved childhood drama, because it gets much worse. In a podcast soon after, Sean has his first public emotional breakdown on camera.
Yeah, it's crazy shit, dude. Crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
But would enraging the current champion make it better or worse for Dricus? This was going to be an interesting fight, because Strickland was the antithesis of his style. He too had an unusual fighting style to match Du Plessis' awkwardness. Dricus clearly lost the first round, but then adapted his approach and gradually put more and more pressure. After a 5-round close brawl, the judges came to a split decision. Du Plessis became the first South African-born champion in UFC history. From Pretoria to the pinnacle, he arrived home a hero and an inspiration for the whole nation. Du Plessis has now opened pathways for future generations of African fighters. But my next upcoming video covers an even crazier story than this. Subscribe here so you won't miss it.